Bonjour, good day. A minute of silence for truth. Thank you for joining me on this today. I'm doing another walk and talk on my way. This time on not such a mysterious adventure, but rather something more practical. Practicality. Can't be doing art missions all the time. And yet, in a way, there is an art element attributed to what I'm doing. So, after much deliberation in my mind, after much reflection, after trial and error, after thinking of what would be the most beautiful, first and foremost, while being practical and effective way to finish my patio. Not just my patio, but the balcony that I have been working on, the current project on hand that I am engaged in. I'm going to find a little seat so I can sit down and light my cigarette. As you know, I've spoken about it before. I think I made a video to the horrific disaster of a experience I had with my last contractors I hired for said balcony. And I mean, look at that. All of a sudden, here we are amidst the greenery, the trees, the nature. So yeah, perfect location to take a little breather and make a quick video. So the last experience I had with contractors, etc., resulted in me choosing to never ever in my life, oh hello, ever again hire a contractor ever again. Never. And so I have taken it upon myself to finish the task that I have started. We're not leaving till the job is done. Where's that from? Oh. We're not leaving till the job's done. Let's see if I can set this up for a little, just for a little bit. Other way, other way. Other way. This one. Yikes. These benches are not designed. There we go. How's that? We could look at something a little bit more exciting. Like that. How's that? Yeah. So, thinking. I thought to myself, a Mediterranean balcony would be amazing. Really having a hard time with this yellow lighter. A Mediterranean bathroom, a balcony would be amazing. And so let's do that. So I went on a quest for Mediterranean type tiles. Went down to Griffintown few times. Finally, on the second time, organized with my buddy to pick up a set of ceramics. So I went with some stone-like ceramics, basically stones. And of course, my structure had already been built. My structure has been built for about better part of a week or two now, and I've just been reflecting on the top, on the covering. So I bring back the sample boxes, 2 boxes instead of 10, just to see what it looks like, and I laid them down on top of my structure. My tenant that's in the apartment at the time is there. He says, "Wow, that's amazing! Look at that! Oh, you're going with ceramics. That's great. I hope they have a little bit of texture to them, because that's the one thing. Every time you go out on a balcony and there's ceramics, you just slip and you can really hurt yourself." I say, "Don't worry. They have texture. Texture they have." And so I laid them out in a fashion that was appealing to me at the time. And I realized, wait a second, I've only put down 10 tiles, and this thing is super heavy. I mean, we got 25 pounds a box. Each box has 10 tiles in it. We're at 50 pounds. By the time I'm done, I'm gonna need at least another 2 boxes, maybe 3. So we're looking at 150, 200 pounds just in ceramic. And then there's the cement and everything else. So I had to reevaluate, reestablish, and reconsider my option. Delete! As my friend Michelle would say, delete! So back to the drawing board. I'm thinking I'm staying up at night. I'm doing other stuff, fixing the under part, putting in the forants so that I can have the slats that are gonna cover it, thinking about the ventilation for underneath. And then it hits me, I go, okay, I'll just keep it simple, and I'll go and I'll pick up these little tiles that are like wood tiles that click-clack together in a Lego fashion. And that'll look good. So I'm off to Canadian Tire. I pick up a box, 40 bucks, what have you. And what? I put them down. Now, of course, the Canadian Tire boxes are $40 a box. The Home Depot boxes are $120 a box. What's the difference? Well, the quality of the tile. The quality says everything. And when you click-clack these Canadian tiles together, you feel the difference. As in, no, I can't do that. It'll be cheaper, but I can't do that. And on top of it, these things are porous because they're designed to go on top of already existing decks that you don't necessarily want to completely remove, and you just want to cover it with something that looks good.
That's my father.
That's my father. Good one. Random phrases in public. The other day I heard a good one. What was it? I was walking behind a couple and they were talking to each other. Older couple from New York. They were definitely American. And the husband says to the wife, "That's the kind of guy where a half a sandwich goes a long way." So that was a really good one. Anyways, so the way these things are designed is that they let water go through so that they can drain out. So if you have a rooftop patio, your patio is built on what are called elephant feet, and the roof itself underneath is slanted so that there's drainage. And in my particular case, my giant patio that I am working on, not to be confused with a balcony, I'm doing two in one in the true fashion of myself, always working on more than one thing simultaneously at the same time. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can't use these on the balcony because the balcony base is wood, and if I do that, I'm gonna have to put a membrane over the wood and cover it, or buy a tub of sealant that costs $100 a tub, and I'm probably gonna need 2 of those. So bringing it right back to my good friend Michelle, delete, back to the drawing board. Look at that. Where are we at? This is some Art Deco architecture. Trusted gas station. This is Avenue Saint Denis, corner Laurier. We're going this way. Any traffic? No traffic? Do we cross? Let's cross. Makes no sense to wait at the red light if there's no traffic coming. So, on my list of things to pick up today, if I stumble upon one, is a carry stick or some sort of handheld apparatus to hold on to my camera. Maybe a body strap, so I can keep it strapped close to me. When people don't know that I am videotaping. So, back to the drawing board. Delete. So finally I think to myself, okay, I guess I have no choice but to go the traditional way, which is 1 inch thick, 4 inch wide planks, tongue and groove interlocked to create my base for my balcony. And that is what I am en route to Home Depot to acquire. Now, one of these streets I will cut across. We're on Laurier, which is a quaint little street with a lot of action, a lot of commerces, some fancy buildings like this one with some gold lighting. 285. What's the numbers on that? 15. Hot 6s. Now, these, I guess we could say a little bit like this thickness. This is called a 2 by 4. Okay, 2 by 4. However, it's really 1.5 by 3.5. So the planks that I'm talking about are a little thinner and about that wide, and they have a tongue and groove, which means one side grooves into the other. Click clack, nail it all down, and then you seal it because it's outside. You gotta have to seal it with some sort of weather protection. And since I've decided I'm going to also put a roof over this balcony, I think it's safe to say that I don't need to worry so much about water infiltration, or at least not as much as if it were completely exposed to the elements, which I've decided I'm not going to do. And so this is why it takes forever for me to do things. and the ideas evolve as we go along, and I finally come to the end result that looks great and is most appropriate and in connection with the rest of the building. Because as I was expressing to my my partners, as I was explaining to the boss, there has to be coherence between all the different patios, balconies on the building. And since this particular one is the last of the Mohicans, so to speak, from yesteryear, the remaining remnants of past ownership, I felt it was time to really do it up. And we can always adjust the other ones as we go along. If things need to be replaced later on, we'll replace them in the style of this particular one that I'm working on. So we're slowly approaching the street that I must turn up on. Or I could even go a little further on this street, because it is quite a nice little place. Let's catch this light. Look at that. This is where Avenue Laurier becomes a two-way. And just over there, down there somewhere, is the store where I purchased the touch keypad deadbolt for one of my properties. People don't like seeing people pointing cameras at them. Makes them uncomfortable. Alright, so where are we at? I believe we are turning right up here on Saint Urbain. Yes, we are turning right on Saint Urbain, all the way up to Beaubien, which is coming right up. There it is. I came all this way. Got to take a break, folks, just to hop in real quick. I'll be back after this short message from our sponsors. Alright, looks like everywhere we go, there's one church after another. This particular one I think is quite special. If we look at its sheer size, we're at the corner of Saint Urbain and Saint Viateur. Look at this thing, it's huge. Now, I'm no expert, but the dome and all that seems very Islamic to me. And I believe it is a Catholic church. Look at it. It's humongous. Look at how big that thing is. Yowzers. Okay. We'll take a moment to observe. Oh, and there's some more. I discovered recently there's a gazillion varieties of sunflowers out there. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, we're getting close, folks. If we look up top, we'll see a gazebo-like structure on the top of that patio that looks like a lot of fun. Well done. So here we are, Clark and Bernard. We are so close. Oh look, they have appliances. $385, $350. Whew, okay, so they ain't giving them away. What's going on here? How do I? Okay, yeah, gotta do this. That's why it wasn't working. Gotta go this way. Gotta take Saint Laurent after all. And I'm still quite a ways away from the place, so I'll probably end up stopping this and continuing when we get a little closer. Get a feel for Montreal. Whiskey Cafe. Oh well, guess they didn't make it. Alright, here we go. Maybe I'll pick up a little coffee for the rest of the... Oh, those are nice. About their simplicity that does it for me. Huh. All right, well, looks like I hadn't realized how much of a walk Beaubien really is north, but I just now understand that it is after the tracks. There are a number of tracks that cut across the city that's kind of separate, are the dividing lines between north and south. So here we are, approaching the promised land, as I like to call it. Approaching the promised land. And if we look in the distance, we'll see some scattered. Battery's about to die, so I'm gonna have to wrap this one up shortly. But here we are now, Saint Laurent. So, yeah, big edit. Big edit, in fact, several days late. But I thought I'd just bang this out and get it over with. So, I finally made it. I made it to the store, picked up my materials. Oof, I thought. So, I get to the store and I ask a gentleman for a specific kind of wood. Wood planks, tongue and groove, okay? You gotta have the tongue and groove. And the guy takes me to the outdoor lumber section. Sorry, don't have what you're looking for in the outdoor lumber. So in fact, they don't make this stuff. They don't make the tongue and groove for outdoor. What they do for outdoor is this synthetic plastic wood stuff that looks like wood, has the texture of wood, color of wood, whatever color you want, but it's actually PVC, and you know, you click-clack it together. No, that's not what I want, especially not at $149 a plank, right? Lasts forever, yada yada. So then I go back. I go to the pro section, the customer service, and I show the guy a picture. Easiest thing. You pull up the photo on. You put up the photo on the internet. You show it to him. He looks in his system. He goes, "Oh yeah, aisle 22, section 15." Okay, so there I am, aisle 22, section 15. What do I find? Find my guy. Okay. Find my guy. This is a tongue and groove 1 by 6 plank pine with knots, with the knots. Okay, I'm like, aha, that's what I'm looking for, that's what I want. This is actually made for indoor. However, you throw a stain on it and a coat, a varnish, and it's just as good outside. And since I've decided I'm going to put a rooftop over that balcony anyways, it's right here. This is the balcony in question. So that, a couple of those, and some slightly thinner ones, 1x4s, to mix it up. I'm like, perfect. And what do you know? Turns out Home Depot delivers. Great. Even cheaper than calling my main man Osama or Joseph to come and scoop it up. I said, perfect. When can you deliver it? Well, for an extra $10, you can choose what time you want it delivered. And if you just pay the flat rate of $60, it'll be at some point during the day. Tomorrow. Perfect. That was right after all of that first part of this video. Perfect. So the next day, my stuff arrives around noon, something like that. I got Fitzy over here, and he's got a buddy that's making his way over to spend some time with him. Perfect. So his buddy's over, and I'm working away. I'm banging him down, placing him one by one by one. We'll throw a few shots of what it looks like. Actually, I just paused the video and don't feel like re-editing. So I'm going at it, laying them down one by one by one. And I look over to the side and I see a gentleman kind of walking around the building or whatever outside on the sidewalk. So, okay, whatever. At one point, I run across the street to the gas station to pick up some smoke, something, and I see a gentleman kind of walking out of the building. Okay, whatever. I come in through the side. A few minutes later, Fitzy comes out and says, Daddy, there's someone at the door. I'm like, answer it. You know, the doorbell rings. Daddy's someone at the door. Okay, so answer it. Comes back inside and says, Daddy, it's an inspector from the city. I said, whoa, inspector from the city. Okay, tell him I'll be out in 2 seconds. I finished throwing the nachos that I got in the oven. And, perfect. I go out and I meet this gentleman. The gentleman says to me, hi, I'm from the city of Montreal. I'm an inspector of the city of Montreal, and you don't have a permit, so I have put this sign on your door. Please read it. It says what it says, okay? I look at that and go, whoa, okay, that's pretty serious, but I'm just changing a couple of planks on the thing. He says, I know, but you need a permit for that. You need a permit? Everybody I talked to said, I don't need a permit. Who'd you talk to? People. Did you call the city? He says, listen, this is all you gotta do. You just gotta call the city. You gotta let them know that I came here. I put this here. It says what it says. Okay, at one point he says to me, can I just come and take a look? I said, I prefer if you didn't, but just give me a second. Yeah, right, a second. Anyways, so this rattles me for a little bit. I won't lie. I'm rattled. I'm slightly rattled by this. I'm like, okay. Now I gotta tell somebody about this, and I gotta go to the city, gotta deal with this shit. Do I gotta deal with this shit? Anyway, so that was a couple days ago. Obviously I did not deal with it. In fact, I simply continued working on what I was working on, or at least attempting to finish it. The top part or the section. As per usual, I didn't buy enough materials, but I knew that. But at the same time, I don't help myself because I do shit differently. I don't just do your basic, lay it straight, one by one, keep it simple, just throw it down. Now, I try to do patterns, and I get into this, and I get into that, and I gotta put something fancy here, and then I'm gonna throw some ceramics, and so it's like, it's a whole thing, okay? But that's okay, because that's how I do it. That's my way. And in the end, you're left with something beautiful. Beautiful. It's beautiful. Nice nice cup, eh? Big story behind this one, but perhaps another time. So, I got about 20 seconds, or rather 20% left to this, so I'm gonna plug myself in. Get a little charger. Get a little charger with a long cord. So I finally experienced what everybody talks about in this business, the business of property ownership and renovations, etc., which is permits. Permits. Welcome to Quebec. Okay. Let's do it like this. Let's finish it up like this. Welcome to Quebec, where you need to ask for permission to do everything. It's okay. Talked about it before. I'm not going to get into it. So, I don't let it frazzle me. I just continue. I finish what I'm doing quick, and then close it up, seal it up with some plastic, because it's supposed to rain in the next couple of days, etc., etc. And I decide to mix it up, to do something different, to change the mental state. And right on the corner of the property of my place, there's a beautiful, magnificent crack right in the center of the sidewalk, right on the corner. So you know what? Today's the day. Hoje é o dia. Today is the day. So I go inside and I say, Vite, come on, we're gonna go start this. Start what? Start what, daddy? We're gonna go start this. Bring a little broom, bring a bucket, bring some cement, blah, 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 and we go and prep the spot, okay? And this is what it looks like. Clean it up, take out all the little pebbles and everything, and then lay a thin layer of what's it called? Cement. Mortar? Thin set mortar? It's like your base, you know? Basically what you use to stick tiles when you're doing a bathroom or a floor. And in the time, maybe took us about a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, we were out there. Several people passed by, and everybody seemed very touched by the fact that here's this gentleman with his son doing a good service to the city of Montreal. Drive by, right? It's right on the corner, right? So you got a red light, and every couple of minutes it changes, and you have cars that come and stop, and I got cars there, I got cars there, we got cars, okay? Let's see from the video. And everybody's so grateful in a sense. People are saying, thank you. Ah, merci, merci. Okay, cool. So this is... Fitzy looks at me and he says, you know, Daddy, what we could do is we could put like a hat, and people will give us tips, right? We could put a QR code, and we could do this all day, and people will just come and give us tips. And my child is actually very, very comical, hilarious actually, just like his mother. He says to me, he says, "Daddy," in the middle of it, right? He says, "Daddy, do you have a permit for this?" Make art, not drama. Make art, not drama. Beautification of the nation. I mean, sure, why not? And then we let it dry. A couple of hours later, Daddy, Fitzy comes back to me. He says, "Daddy, I got bad news." I said, What happened? What happened? What happened?" He says, "Somebody stepped in our thing." I was like, "Oh, no." I look at it, and it's on Maganade. There's a big tire track in it because, it's not very obvious. It kind of dries like the sidewalk, so it's very possible that, I said, "Okay, let's start ce soir." So I started with him laying stuff down, right? Laying the first section of what I imagine to be a sidewalk crack mosaic, right? Lay it down. Looks amazing. Okay? Looks like this. So, okay, perfect. I'm double fisting. You get to see me double fisting. Come back the next day, goes back to his mother. Come back the next evening, lay some more down and start grouting it. I'm with my buddy, and he's like, "Wow, this is something. If only you could get paid to do this, This is why you're always broke." Established 1983. It's because you do this with your time. Wow. If only you could start getting paid to do this, right? So, yeah. While simultaneously doing this, taking a little break, getting into the right, mental headway. En plus, I gotta do another trip to Home Depot for more of this, and then once it's stained, sanded, if there's any cracks or anything in there, we fill it in with wood filler. No, you don't fill it in with wood filler, excuse me. I discovered that wood filler is kind of not the right thing to use when you're trying to get some kind of like rustic look. You gotta use grout, and you buy an off-white, kind of like a beige grout. The one I have is called Bone. It's kind of similar to this color. It's a little bit, it's more like this kind of brown there. And you put it in between your cracks. So if you have cracks in your floors because the wood is dried and it's shrunk, and so it creates cracks in your floors indoor, you take the grout, and with a sponge you wipe it down, and it kind of melts into the cracks, and it's clean. And then it dries hard, and it dries with a coat on it, so it doesn't like wash off, doesn't shrink when it dries more, which wood filler does. So if you keep filling in your cracks in your floors with wood filler, which I've done, eventually you're vacuuming and there goes the wood filler. Delete. So I'm happy with the way it's turning out. I'm going to continue. I believe Tuesday I will, for the experience, go in for the first time and ask for a permit for a project. Why not? Why not? Let's see what it's all about. It's not even expensive, right? It's like $35 or something. Probably $33 to get said permit, right? Anyways. On another property, we have some domestic issues between tenants that I have to deal with. Between a Quebecer and a Chinaman, words were exchanged. I was informed of this, and of course I have to deal with this issue. This is a great framing. I should do all my videos like this. Anyways, the saga continues. It's been 4 or 5 days since this stuff has been in my conscious, my hard drive. So let me put it all together, put it out. Thank you for watching. If there's any thing I can impart upon you, it's whatever you do, do it with care and love and joy and pleasure. And you put that into it, it is self-evident. The proof is in the pudding, so to speak. So on that note, in that tone, merci, bonjour, good day, and we'll see you soon.